Hey guys, so the Paragon 500 grind is finally over. So a few of you might already know from the community post which I shared on Monday evening that I reached Paragon 500. And in this video, I'll do a quick recap of all the key parts of my strategy, as well as showing the moment that I actually reached the level, and also showing all of my new Inferno 3 gear, as well as the combat rating increase which I had. So first of all, I just want to say that the strategy that I used this time was pretty much the same as the strategy I used for my Paragon 400 push. The only real difference that I had is that I used the Gauntlets, which I had saved over because I didn't use any in that last push that I had. So I would recommend that you watch that video if you haven't already, because I do go over quite a lot of different things and also a more detailed explanation. Also, a few times in this video, I'm going to be referencing my DI resources sheet, which I regularly update, and you'll find a link to that in the description. Just remember that you don't actually need to ask for edit permissions for this sheet. You can just download it or make a copy of it to your own private Google Drive, and you can edit the values there yourself. So with that said, let's get started with the video. So my strategy for every single Paragon push has three main phases. The first phase is the preparation phase, the second phase is the grind phase, and then lastly the final phase is the push phase, where I use all of my raids and gauntlets. So let's start with the preparation phase, which I'm showing on video now. So this is basically all the preparation that I've done for the last 10 weeks since my last push, and this involves saving all of the XP, which is going to be in the form of the battle pass and the mails which I've saved, and also the fish which I've saved. So I've already shown it in my previous video, I won't talk about it so much, but basically I've claimed all three of these things as soon as the Monday reset hit, when the server Paragon level is 20 levels under my goal, which is this week, so it's Paragon level 480. The other part of the preparation phase involves grinding in the previous week, so when the server Paragon level is 30 levels under, which is Paragon level 470, so in the previous week I actually grinded up to Paragon level 486, which I believe is the second level of 5%. This actually isn't so high. In my previous push, I actually grinded all the way up to 390, so this was 20 levels above, so I believe this was actually a 1% level XP, but because I didn't have as much time to grind this time, I only grinded up to 486, and then once I had claimed all of my saved XP, which was the battle pass mails and the fish, which do actually get reduced by the XP penalty, I actually ended up going all the way from Paragon level 486 up to Paragon level 493 and halfway to Paragon 494. So now that I've covered the preparation phase, I'll move on to the second phase, which is the grind phase. So for the grind phase, the only mode I played to level up here was Ereban, and this is because this gives the highest XP per hour out of any mode in the game. So I've already talked about how I like to run Ereban in a previous video, but I might make a more updated version of it if you guys are interested. But for now, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it. So ideally, I'm going to say that you want to run Ereban in a two-man group, as this gives the highest amount of XP. And I did have a few friends who joined me to help along the way, but for the most part I ended up farming solo, unfortunately. So like I said, my starting level was 493.5, and to help calculate the exact level that I needed to grind to, I used my Paragon calculator. So in this case, because I had 5 raids first clears, and these give 2 million XP each, and also I had Gauntlets 1 and 2 saved, and these also give 2 million XP each, this works out to 14 million XP, and if you do Paragon 500 minus 14 million XP, this works out to Paragon 496. So with this number as the goal, I could use it to calculate the exact time this grind would take. So from 493.5 to 495, it's actually 1.5 levels of 10%, and then from 495 to 496, it's 1 full level of 5% penalty. So I've already done multiple tests of Ereban with different group compositions, and I've posted the results in my DI resources sheet. So for a solo player and with the clan not having the Monster Essence Tower bonus, a 10% level takes 4 hours to grind, so for 1.5 levels of 10%, this would take 6 hours, and then for a 5% level, this would take 8 hours to grind. So this makes the total grind time 6 hours plus 8 hours, which is 14 hours total. So obviously I wasn't able to farm 14 hours straight like a complete maniac, so I did have to take a few breaks in between, but in total this took me roughly 14.5 to 16 hours to complete. And then after that I was ready for phase 3 to pull the trigger on the raids and the gauntlets. So in case you didn't know, the reason for doing raids and gauntlets last is because they are not affected by the XP penalty. So this means that if you've grinded all the way up to a 5% or a 10% penalty level, you're still going to get the same amount of XP for completing a raid. And if this raid is a first clear, you're going to gain 2 million XP. And if you've done this raid before as part of your weekly reset, then you're only going to get 250k XP. So the way you can tell whether or not you have a first clear saved is by looking on the left side of the raids menu. You'll be able to see either that you have a big chest or a small chest. If it's the big chest, that means you have the 2 million XP intact, and you should probably save it until the point that you want to run it to gain that XP. Otherwise, if you have the small chest here, that's how you know that you're only going to get 250k if you run this XP. So the other important thing is to always take note of how many raids you've done during the weekly reset, because if you do one of these raids outside of your weekly reset, it won't count as a first clear and won't give you any XP. So I just want to answer a couple of frequently asked questions that I also get for raids. The first one is, can I do these raids solo? And the answer is yes, and you will still get the same amount of XP. The only thing that will make a difference with running in a group or not is the chest that you get at the end, which just give items, and also the Heliquarian remains. The other thing I've been asked is, what if I have two of the same boss but under two different difficulties? And this is also completely fine. For this specific push, you'll notice that I actually did the butterfly flower boss twice, and both runs gave me 2 million XP. This is because I had first clears on both Hell 3 as the final boss. I had the flower boss there, and I also had the same boss first clear as an Inferno 3 difficulty, and both of these gave me 2 million XP. So I've just completed Gauntlet 1 solo here, and these also give 2 million XP if it's your first clear, and it doesn't matter at all if you do these in group or solo. Obviously, the more people you have, the easier it's going to be, because these are scaled for 8 people. So here I'm just running Gauntlet 2 for the final 2 million XP that I need, and thankfully I had a few of my clan mates and also alliance members help me out here. So I think that we started off clearing this with 5 people, and then a few of them dropped out just before the boss died because they still wanted to keep their first clear intact. So that's another tip that I can give, is that if you want to help your friends out while keeping your first clear intact, you can always leave before the final boss of the gauntlet is killed. So one of my friends left when the boss HP was about 20%, and he did this by just clicking on his portrait and clicking leave game. So here's the moment that I reached Paragon 500, and I did this at 2010 server time, so it took a total time of 17 hours and 10 minutes, which was the quickest grind that I ever did. So now I'll just show the Gauntlet rewards that I got. So Gauntlet 1 gave me Inferno 2 items because I was still under level 500, but thankfully Gauntlet 2 actually gave me some really nice Inferno 3 sets. You can see here I got some really nice Vithu gloves, and also some really nice Gloom Guides gloves. So before I show my Inferno 3 gear and new combat rating, I want to talk about the hero's journey. So right now the only thing I have left for completing chapter 6 here is to spend 500 Paragon points. So to get this done, as soon as you reach Paragon 500, you have to follow some specific steps. So right now you can see that I've spent 440 points and I've got 60 Paragon points left over. So what you want to do is actually unlock another one of these legendary skills, which requires 80. So the way to get 23 points is actually to unassign a couple of these nodes here. So each of these nodes is worth 4 points. So that means that you need 5 of them to get the extra 20 points. And all you need to do is click one of the main nodes here. So I'm going to click this one here and just unassign it. And what this is going to do is unassign all of these. And suddenly you're going to have 80 Paragon points free. And this means you can actually spend these directly to unlock another legendary skill. And once you've done that, you'll notice that the hero's journey has been ticked here, and you can actually claim the hero's journey rewards. So let's just do that now. Spend 500 Paragon points. Done. I'm going to claim this. So let's see what I get. I get keys, hilts, a legendary crest, which is pretty nice, and the Exalted Expedition portal. So let's take a quick look at how the Exalted Expedition portal looks. So let's just teleport to this waypoint over here. So let's see the animation. Okay, it isn't that visible, but it looks like an orange portal. It just looks like the standard portal with an orange recolor. It doesn't look that impressive, if I'm being honest, but usually these Hero's Journey cosmetics aren't really the most impressive. So now that I've unlocked the portal, I'm actually going to undo the Paragon changes that I've done, because this is going to lower my secondary stats. So if you're wondering when it's actually worth to go for the next legendary skill, it's going to be when you're Paragon level 516, because that means you just need to unequip one node to get the legendary skill. So I'm just going to equip all of these back. Do you want to enable this? Yes. Do you want to enable this? Yes. Okay. So to end the video, I'm going to show my highest combat rating for the Inferno 3 gear that I pre-farmed. So I've already equipped all of the legendary items. I'm just going to equip the set items here really quickly. Should have probably done this before I started recording the video, but I'll do this now really quickly. I think that's everything. Yes. So normally I wouldn't recommend going straight for the highest combat rating pieces, as this will break some of your sets up, but I'm just doing this for the purpose of the video. So let's just start with my amulet first. So we've got a triple Windloft amulet here. Then I've got a 222. This is a Gloom Guide belt. It's actually a pretty good one. Unfortunately, it's only 2 sockets, but damage sockets don't matter so much. Then we've got another Gloom Guide piece, the gloves. This is the one that I got from the Gauntlet, which I showed. And then I've got a 222 Angment boots. These are actually pretty good. Unfortunately, they're only 2 sockets, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be using these. Then I've got an Isatar ring. I don't use Isatar set too much, but even if I did, this has unfortunately got a red socket, which isn't so useful, but it is a triple triple, which is really nice, 2138 combat rating. And then for the second ring, unfortunately, I only have a triple two, but this is a pretty nice ring with a blue socket. This is the Endwinter set, which I do end up using for a few of my builds, so this is pretty nice to have. And then for the bracelets, this is probably the best piece that I managed to craft from about 500 Inferno 3 wisps. If you guys are interested to see the crafting session, then let me know in the comments and I might make a video about it. So this was a triple triple bracelet with 3 sockets, so it's a really nice Vithu's bracelet here. And then for the second Vithu's bracelet, unfortunately it's a triple two with only 2 sockets here. So as far as my legendary gear goes, let's just quickly go through this. So I've got a triple four helmet, which is actually pretty impressive, and I really like this one. Unfortunately, it doesn't have critical hit chance. Then for the chest, I've got a triple triple. This is what it looks like with 6% beneficial effect duration. This is a really nice chest. Then I've got shoulders, another triple triple with 4% crit chance, really nice one. Then I've got the pants, so this is another triple triple. Unfortunately, it doesn't have beneficial effect duration, but this is still a very nice piece. So moving on to the weapons now, I've got a triple triple here, another triple triple here. Unfortunately, no crit chance on either of them. Then I've got this triple triple offhand here with 4% crit. This one's a really nice one. It has Blade Dance, which is not really a skill that I end up using in my builds, but that's alright. And then for the last piece, this is a really nice piece with critical hit chance. This one is actually a triple four, probably the best legendary item that I pre-farmed. So as you can see, most of my pieces are actually triple triple or triple four. So if you're wondering how I got so many exceptional triple triple or triple four, well, the secret lies with the Terra Essence. These were actually really nice, running Oblivion Pillars and Hellslayer bounties. I was running 10 per week, and I think I actually have a few left over here. If I look in my codex, let's just have a look at the activities down here. So if we have a look at the Terra Essence Codex task here, you can see that I'm 9 out of 10 and I've still got 2 weekly rewards. So I didn't end up using this just because I didn't need them, but the plan was that once I reach Paragon 500, I would pull the trigger and basically get 2 guaranteed exceptional items. So let's take a look at my new combat rating here. So for my new combat rating, it's 43,032, which is above 43,000. I'm really happy with this, and I'm really happy with the pieces that I pre-farmed. So I did have 10 weeks of pre-farming because I pretty much started farming in Inferno 3 exclusively as soon as I reached Paragon 400. So in case you're wondering how this combat rating compares to my Inferno 2 gear, well, I took a screenshot of my combat rating just before I dinged 500, and I had 40,503 combat rating, which means that I gained roughly 2.5k combat rating, which is really crazy, and I'm really proud of this. So I also wanted to show how this compares to the combat rating required for Challenge Rift 300. So for Challenge Rift 300, you need 42,689 combat rating. So I'm a good 300 points above that, but obviously this isn't really ideal gear. And for my Challenge Rift run, which I'm going to share in my next video, I ended up opting to reduce my combat rating a little bit to optimize my gear, and also go for 4 out of 4 Flowing Strike Eternal Power, which gives me a huge shield, which I really like to play with as the Tempest. So that's about all that I wanted to share for this one, guys. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. As always, if you have any questions or suggestions, then feel free to leave them down below in the comments. But for now, I'm going to be signing off, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.